Hi, Victor. Thanks for making the time for this conversation. So we have a group of guests and friends and colleagues out here watching us. I thought I would just ask you a couple of questions about what the Global History Lab means to you and to your students. So the first question is for you, Victor. What does engagement in the Global History Lab do for you as a Russian scholar working at Smolny Beyond Borders?
Hello, Jeremy. It's so nice to see you as always. I can talk a lot about this question, but I'm trying to be as concrete as possible. It's strange time we are living in,
Yeah.
because from the one hand, it's like global period, globalization of everything, including science, education, and so on. From the another hand, we have a huge number of hot conflicts and so on, and people experiencing that conflicts. These two factors influence my attitude to the
Yeah.
Global History Lab and this wonderful project. In my class, I have students from various parts of the world, and a lot of these students I experienced military conflicts. Some
Yeah.
of them literally escaped from that conflicts, and
So
so
these
they.
are Russian students who are now all over the place, mainly
Uh-huh.
Russian students who are
Yeah,
all over
yeah,
the
yeah. I have Russian students, Ukrainian students. I
place.
have students from refugee camps in Kenya. I have American students. You know, and sometimes we are talking about globality and globalization in theory. We are offering students a lot of reading about that, about global history, which is hard issue, difficult issue to understand. But when students are touching this real globality and globalization, when we are trying to interact with each other, basing on real history, because, again, I can explain the role of primary sources and that. So, students are producers of global history and globality. And so it makes a feeling of interconnection between students, even if they're geographically far
Yeah.
away from each other. It's so strange. I have to confess, it was my first time in my life when I experienced this like feeling of globality and globalization in one class.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
again, theoretical discussion is one thing, but it's like practicing the history, global history.
That's
And what,
terrific. Thanks, Victor. And what about the student side? So if that was your first kind of exposure to thinking the global inside the box that is our course and our courseware, uh, what do you think? What do you see? You've now taught a sequence of seminars and courses in the lab. What's happening to the students in your view?
Jamie, again, this is wonderful and unusual feeling of cooperation
Um,
in the co-producing the history. I mean, all these learning techniques, learning tools that you offered for teaching fellows and for students are so perfect because, as a historian, I believe in power of primary sources.
yeah.
But again, usually in our usual classes, we have like time for some academic articles, even textbooks and so on. And it's wonderful example, unique example when students can not only produce the history through collective writing and through oral history practice and so on, but they are
Yeah.
touching real history through primary sources. And how you choose these various genres of sources, visual, written, official, written, uh, mm, personal sources and so on. And
Yeah.
students are trying to explain and understand how everything works together in order to
Right.
produce. Actually, both of these courses, World History since 1300 and Qualitative Research Methods, is about practice of global
Yes,
history.
that's
You know,
right.
a lot of theories about experiential humanities, experiential learning, education, and so on. But this is one of the rare examples of experiential history. practicing
Wow.
history. And that is why students are so engaged.